the award, Meritorious Service Award, for being the most patient today. Senator Newman, we have before us SB 289.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's with an oak leaf cluster, I might add.
Indeed.
Mr. Chair and members, I'm here before you today to advocate on behalf of SB 289, which would create a convenient statewide producer-funded collection and recycling program for consumer batteries. As you are probably aware, because of the hazardous metals and corrosive materials that batteries contain, California classifies batteries as hazardous waste and explicitly bans them from solid waste landfills. When people are done with their loose batteries and portable electronics, they are expected to save them, sort them, and then find an appropriate disposal option. Unfortunately, because California currently lacks a streamlined and convenient collection and recycling system for batteries, at the moment, this tends to be more the exception than the rule. I would ask you, as context in considering the bill before you today, to take a moment to think about all of your batteries. Think about all the AA and AAA and other types of batteries you go through in a year, powering all the many devices that are so deeply embedded in our thoroughly modern lives these days: the remote controls, the computer keyboards, the mice, the clocks, the flashlights, your electric toothbrush, your kids' toys, etc. Now, think about all the rechargeable devices everybody carries these days as well, each one with its own lithium-ion or similar battery. Now multiply your batteries by California's population of just under 40 million people, and then consider how challenging it is to properly recycle all of those batteries, especially when you consider the fact that there's currently no unified system in place in California for doing so. Now consider this alarming fact as well. Every single one of those batteries contains hazardous, toxic, and corrosive materials like mercury, cadmium, lithium, and lead. When improperly discarded, batteries pose a serious environmental hazard. Because of a combination of increased consumption and a lack of convenient disposal options, higher levels of toxic batteries and products are continually entering California's waste stream. When batteries are tossed into the trash instead of properly recycled, they end up in landfills where they decay and leak. As disposable batteries corrode, their chemicals soak into soil and contaminate groundwater and surface water. Delicate and already strained ecosystems are compromised when exposed to battery chemicals. When we drink from tap water faucets, we could be ingesting dangerous metals. Lithium batteries in particular can be very unstable, and when improperly disposed of, pose serious fire, health, and safety hazards. In fact, over the past decade, the massive influx of improperly disposed of lithium-ion batteries into California's waste stream has resulted in an alarming number of fires in our material recovery facilities, waste collection trucks, and our landfills. When lithium-ion batteries burn, it releases fluoride gas, which poses serious toxic threats to the health and safety of workers, firefighters, and the surrounding community. The vaporized components of burned batteries also get trapped in the atmosphere and pollute lakes and streams in the form of acid rain, as well as contributing to global warming. According to a 2018 California Product Stewardship Council survey, 20 of the 26 material recovery facilities they surveyed experienced at least one fire during the previous 2 years, 65% of which, or almost two-thirds, were attributed to improperly discarded batteries. Without dramatically reducing the number of lithium-ion batteries entering California's waste stream, California will suffer additional fires that will jeopardize waste operations and the health and safety of workers and our communities. You'll be hearing firsthand from one of the lead witnesses this afternoon about the devastating impacts of these fires. Under its provisions, SB 289 will create a coordinated system of free and convenient collection bins for most loose and product-embedded batteries at retail locations across the state to allow consumers to place batteries into the bins for proper disposal rather than discarding them along with the rest of their household trash. The bill would also create a consumer outreach and education campaign to educate Californians and encourage the proper disposal of all batteries. This approach to policy, generally referred to as extended producer responsibility, which SB 289 will apply to consumer batteries, has firm roots in California law and has been previously employed to efficiently and effectively improve recycling for an array of hard-to-recycle materials, from mattresses to automobile tires to, not coincidentally, car batteries. In 2018, this legislature passed by a nearly unanimous vote SB 212, authored by our colleague, former Senator Hannah Beth Jackson, which requires manufacturers in the pharmaceutical industry to take back unused and wasted needles and discarded drugs. SB 289 replicates this model and continues this very positive trend. The opposition is likely to assert that the bill will increase the cost of vital products to California consumers. To that, I would respectfully point out that the costs of these lithium-ion-induced fires, as well as the general environmental danger, are already being borne by our waste and recycling operators, local governments, fire professionals, the environment, public health, and consumers. As a partial consequence, California cities anticipate that garbage rates will increase in the next 3 years, and these lithium-ion batteries If these lithium-ion batteries continue to cause toxic fires across the state, the cost of ensuring local waste management facilities is certain to increase as well. The producers of consumer batteries do not currently shoulder any of the costs associated with the toxic fires and other environmental harms caused by their products. By enrolling producers as part of a more effective end-to-end system for recycling consumer batteries, we can prevent these disasters from occurring, thereby saving the cost of higher garbage rates while protecting the health of the public, reducing the risk to waste facility workers, and better safeguarding California's land, water, and air. Binding manufacturers and retailers to a system such as this is eminently sensible and fair and consistent with other similar efforts in California and across the nation. You'll likely hear opposition make reference to a similar bill that passed in Washington, D.C., and how this bill could model that one. SB 289 shares a framework similar to the D.C. bill. However, please note that California has roughly 57 times the population of Washington, D.C., and a much different rural versus city divide. Therefore, while we view the D.C. model as a good and relevant set of reference points, an EPR battery recycling program in California will need different requirements based on our size, our demographics, and our recycling structures. Using D.C. as reference, however, we are currently considering making adjustments around performance goals and the sizes of batteries and products collected. The bill's sponsors in my office have been meeting with opposition and will continue to be open to doing so. We're sensitive to their concerns and committed to generating support among all parties while leaving the intent of the bill intact. With me here in the chamber today to testify is Jason Schmelzer on behalf of the California Product Stewardship Council, and on the phone is Joe La Mariana, Executive Director of Rethink Waste. I respectfully ask for your aye vote this afternoon.
Thank you, Senator Newman. Well worth the wait. All right. So, Mr. Schmelzer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Jason Schmelzer here today on behalf of the California Product Stewardship Council, one of the three co-sponsors of SB 289. Senator Newman focused on the need for SB 289, so I'm going to focus quickly on the mechanics of the bill. So what does the bill do? SB 289 establishes a performance-based recycling system for loose batteries and consumer products that contain non-removable batteries. Producers would be required to design, fund, and operate a program that will collect and recycle their products. They can comply individually, but the likely result is that they will combine to form a stewardship organization to manage the program on their behalf. The stewardship organization submits a plan to the department, who then checks the plan to make sure that it meets all the statutory requirements. SB 289 would also establish a few different performance goals to keep the program on track, but otherwise it frees up the industry to implement the program that worked for them. It's performance-based as opposed to command and control. The department can adjust those program performance goals via regulations, where all stakeholders have the ability to provide feedback. And I would note, if you look at existing recycling programs, having some sort of flexibility and not having convenience standards locked into statute is quite useful. There's no fee on consumers to cover the program. The industry covers the cost and works out those details amongst themselves. There are penalties for noncompliance, but they're consistent with the last program of this type that was passed by the legislature, and it establishes an advisory committee so other stakeholders can have input into the process. SB 289 is structured similarly to recent legislation, as noted by Senator Newman, that created a program for leftover drugs and needles. If the state can ask makers of vital medicines to mitigate the end-of-life impacts of their products, then the legislature can certainly ask the same of battery manufacturers. To be clear, we have been and will continue proactively working with various opponents, and we feel very positive about the possibility of coming to terms with at least some of them. For those reasons, we respectfully request your aye vote today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmelzer. Mr. La Mariana, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Thank you so
Please
much
go ahead.
To you and the members. My name is Joe LaMariana. I am the Executive Director of the Rethink Waste publicly owned Regional Solid Waste Management Authority. We were formed in 1982. We're based in San Mateo County, and we serve 430,000 residents and about 11,000 businesses across 11 jurisdictions from East Palo Alto to Hillsborough. About 400 of our workers are based on our facility, and we handle about 500,000 tons of waste materials every year. These workers' safety and our facilities are at serious risk from lithium-ion batteries all 363 days a year that we operate. In 2016, we experienced a firsthand catastrophic fire that we believe was due to a lithium-ion battery at our recycling center. Our facility was closed down for 4 months and caused $8.5 million worth of damages. over 60 workers were furloughed during this time, and it took about a year to fully repair everything. Before the fire, we had one insurance provider. Today, we need 7 for the same level of coverage. In 4 years, our insurance premiums have risen 12 times, and our deductibles have multiplied by a factor of over 300 times. Lithium-ion batteries are an existential threat to our state's solid waste industry and to the safety of our tens of thousands of workers. Insurance providers are simply finding it too risky to cover facilities like ours after the extensive damages in 2016 and other fires in our industry. We've implemented many preventative measures to remove lithium-ion batteries from our waste stream, but we're still struggling to get them all out. These batteries threaten the very integrity of our publicly funded waste collection and recycling infrastructure system across the state. This crisis must have a solution now, as lithium-ion batteries have become more and more common in everyday products. SB 289 provides a responsible way to handle these materials at the end of their useful life and is critical to protecting our infrastructure and workers. I respectfully urge your aye vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. LaMariana. Anyone else in the gallery in support? Seeing none. Anyone in room 112? Seeing none. Let's turn to the phone lines now. Madam Moderator, is there anyone on the phone line queued up in support of SB 289?
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, to speak in support of SB 289, please press 1, then 0 at this time. We'll open line 542. Line 542, your line is now open.
Good evening, Chair and members. Priscilla Quiroz on behalf of the following clients: Western Placer Waste Management Authority, Stop Waste, Solid Waste Association of North America Legislative Task Force, and Public Risk Innovation Solutions in Management, also known as PRISM, all in support of SB 289. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Line 536, your line is open.
Good afternoon. Catherine Freeman on behalf of the California State Association of Counties, representing all 58 California counties in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line 312, your line is open.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste. We're a proud co-sponsor of the bill and in strong support.
Thank you.
Line 557, your line is open.
Hi, John Kennedy with the Rural County Representatives of California in strong support.
Thank you.
Line 559, your line is now open.
Melissa Romero with the California League of Conservation Voters in support.
Thank you.
Line 567, your line is open.
Faith Conley with the LA County Board of Supervisors in support.
Thank you.
Line 554, your line is open.
Hello, and Chair members. Derek Dolphy on behalf of the League of California Cities in support of SB 289.
Thank you.
Line 560, your line is open.
This is Jim Lindberg on behalf of the Friends Committee on Legislation of California in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line 322, your line is open.
Good afternoon. This is Eric Zetz, Merced County Regional Waste Management Authority, in support of SB 289.
Thank you.
Line 374, your line is open.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. Michael Daft with the Prea and McKaylee on behalf of Republic Services in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Line 563, your line is open.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Fielding Greaves with the Advanced Medical Technology Association. No position on the bill today, but really appreciate Senator Newman working with us on technical issues, and thank you. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Before we open line 487, as a reminder, if you'd like to speak in support, please press 1, then 0 for SB 289. Line 487, your line is open.
This is Claudia Deek from CalPERS, California Public Interest Research Group, in support of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
And at this time, I have no one else in support, sir.
Thank you very much. Let's now turn to opposition. I understand Mr. Scott Governor is here in the chamber. Mr. Governor, the gallery is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Scott Governor here on behalf of PRBA, the Rechargeable Battery Association. We have spoken with the author and the proponents and look forward to continue to speak with them. We've not made any progress yet, but we understand amendments will be coming out shortly. Yes, we did suggest they look at the DC model, and while California is exponentially larger than Washington, DC, we still think it has some important elements that are worth considering. In this bill, for example, there is a lack of direction to CalRecycle, which is somewhat concerning given that they have kind of absolute fee authority with no caps, as does every other state agency that may be impacted by battery disposal. As Senator Newman discussed the environmental impact, water impacts, et cetera, this means DTSC, EPA, DWR, CAL FIRE, et cetera, would all be able to impose fees. Retailers are entitled to impose fees for floor space, employee training, insurance, et cetera. The measure refers to producers, and producers is kind of a standard term. It refers to the battery maker, the product maker with the embedded battery in it, the importer, the distributor, and the retailer. All those entities would have to register with CalRecycle by April 1st, 2022, so 4 months after the bill takes effect. Now, we won't know which of those entities will belong to a stewardship at that point, so the reporting will be entirely redundant. As near as we can tell, failure to report would subject them to a $10,000 to $50,000 per day penalty by CalRecycle. This measure could get there eventually. It needs a lot of clarification and simplifying. We hope to get there eventually with the proponents, but for now we remain opposed and ask for your no vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Anyone on the phone line in opposition to SB 289?
Ladies and gentlemen, to speak in opposition of SB 289, you may press 1, then 0 at this time. We'll open line number 503. Your line is now open.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. Adam Regley with the California Chamber of Commerce in opposition at this time, and we appreciate looking forward with the author on amendments to the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Moderator, one second. Let me ask if there's anyone else in the gallery who's here in opposition to SB 289. Seeing none, and I see no one in room 112 in opposition to SB 289. Let's return to the phone lines.
Yes, sir. Line 301, your line is open.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Sharon Taylor for the Personal Insurance Federation. We are listed in opposition, but we've been working with the author to address our concerns. We're very appreciative of those efforts and are hopeful that our issues will be resolved soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Line 541, your line is open.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Senators. Dean Garfield on behalf of the California Retailers Association. We are opposed to SB 289. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Line 561, your line is open.
Members, Dawn Kepke with McHugh, Kepke & Associates on behalf of the California Manufacturers and Technology Association, regrettably opposed to SB 289. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Before we open 537, as a reminder, if you'd like to speak in opposition of Bill SB 289, you may press 1, then 0 at this time. Line 537, your line is open.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Stephanie Morwell on behalf of the Consumer Technology Association in opposition to the bill.
Thank you.
I have no one else in opposition, sir.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Bring it back to the chamber. I see Senator Wachowski's mic is up. Senator Wachowski.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I sit on the Environmental Quality Committee, so I enjoyed the environmental analysis. I'd like to draw your attention and attention to the author to starting at page 11, when we talk about the prohibition against economic protectionism embedded in the Dormant Commerce Clause. It appears that while the case cited on page 13, C.A. Carbone versus the town of Clarkston, is distinguishable because this is one city in the state of New York versus the whole state. The language that's used in the annual report and the preference that to prioritize use of in-state processing facilities over out-of-state processing facilities on its face a violation of the Dormant Commerce Clause. So if all the experts or the author could address that's been addressed, this constitutional challenge that this otherwise fine bill has.
Thank you, Senator Wojciechowski. Senator Newman, you could address that now or in your close?
I'll do that now. So I appreciate your concern, and as this moves forward, I'll look into it. I think you've raised a salient point.
Yeah.
Artie?
I don't know what else to say other than, well said, Senator Wojciechowski. The bill will be amended as we move forward, and I'm glad to address it as part of that process.
Thank you. All right. I see no other microphones. Yes, I do. Senator Caballero's microphone is up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank the author for this, this bill. I think one of the challenges we have as we continue to expand the use of electronic devices as well as batteries and use batteries for storage, we're going to have to deal with the real environmental impact that mining for these products has on the world, and the fact that we have places all over the world that mine this really important mineral, the important minerals that go into these devices, and then we're just throwing them into the landfill. So the more that we can set up a reasonable, logical recycling opportunity to be able to take out that material, reuse it, it's going to be in the best interest of all of us. So I support the bill. I'm agnostic as to how we do this, whether it's a fee on the sale of the product that then goes into recycling or the way that it's proposed in this bill, but I think it's really important.
Thank you, Senator Caballero. Senator Hertzberg.
I want to associate my comments with Senator Caballero's comments about the process, but I got to tell you, I spent 12 years out of government working in the renewable energy space, and the principal area that I was focused on was eliminating batteries, the landfill problems, and all the other challenges. We tend to think that even if we have rechargeable batteries, there's extraordinary consequences to this stuff. I was trying to use solar in lieu of batteries, but whatever. But it became so clear to me as I traveled around to so many different parts of the world what a big problem this is. And I don't know enough about his regulatory structure in terms of the bill, but I just wanted to join in because I think this is such an important issue, and I applaud the author for taking it on. It's a very, very big issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hertzberg. All right. Any other microphones? No other microphones. Senator, yes, Senator Hertzberg, you want to say something else, or do you want to just move the bill? He moves the bill. All right. Senator Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee members. So to Senator Caballero's point, here, just a stat. In 2007, according to the Environmental Protection Agency, and that's 14 years ago, people in the United States threw away 2.5 million tons of cell phones, TVs, computers, and printers, and all of the associated lithium and batteries within them. So this is a serious problem. I will say I take seriously Mr. Governor's comments. We need to make sure that this is neither too complex nor too expensive, but an end-to-end system like this should work. It has worked in other states. And when you think about the range of support to include environmental groups, county and city government, and waste management agencies, we're 3/4 of the way there. The next step is to get our producers and retailers to a place where they're comfortable. I'm committed to working toward that, and I ask respectfully for your aye vote today.
Thank you. Did Senator Hertzberg move the bill? Madam Chief Counsel Estrada, please call the roll.
This is SB 289 by Senator Newman with a motion by Senator Hertzberg. The motion is due pass, but first be re-referred to the Committee on Appropriations. Umberg.
Aye.
Umberg, aye. Borges. Caballero. Caballero, aye. Durazo.
Aye.
Durazo, aye. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Gonzalez, aye. Hertzberg.
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Jones. Laird.
Aye.
Laird, aye. Stern. Wojciechowski.
Aye.
Wojciechowski, aye. Wiener. You have 7-0 so far.
All righty. We'll put that bill on call. Thank you, Senator Newman.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Chair.
Dolly. I saw Senator Dolly here a moment ago. Is Senator Dolly here in the chamber? If Senator Dolly is not here, I saw Senator Eggman here. We'll give Senator Dolly just a few seconds. All right. Why don't we go ahead? Let's hear Senator Eggman's bill. So that is SB 605, number 8 on your schedule.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members. It is my pleasure to be here. You're listening to your vigorous conversations. First, I'd like to start out by